All right, we are a little late. It is what 8/17/23, so we have 5 days left of this week's shrine. So this is actually the 8/15 shrine, but we're teacher. We're back to work now, so a little bit of chaos in our life as things kind of fall back into routine. So apologize for the delay in getting this out, but we'll be better in the future once we get into our school routine here. But we've got some interesting ones here. I think what do we have? We've got a combination of Pig Chapter perks and then some new and old behavior original IP. But we've got some good ones. At the very least, they're interesting, right? I think most of these are pretty good in a vacuum. Some of them are meme, but they're all useful perks, and most of them are a lot of fun as well. So we'll kind of get right into these. We'll start off with the killer ones, then we'll jump into the survivor ones, and then we might show some builds, some recommendations, or just talk about some recommendations that we have. So first one we have here is Mad Grit, which is a Legion perk, and this is one of the perks that you can get by leveling up the Legion, which is behavior IP. So you could spend your Eerie Shards on Legion instead of on the perk, and Legion does have some other good perks. If you play Huntress, he's got a great perk for you there with now I'm just completely drawing a blank here, but Iron Maiden, right? You open the lockers faster to reload faster, and if someone gets in, gets out, they're exposed. So good perk if you're playing like Huntress or some of the other killers that have to reload at lockers. And then also has Discordance, which is a fantastic perk as well. And then there's Mad Grit, which is a fun one. So we might go that route, especially if you have any interest in playing Legion. But Mad Grit is awesome because it is the backpack build perk. And what it does is you suffer no cooldown with missed basic attacks. And when you hit a survivor with a basic attack while carrying a survivor, it pauses the wiggle timer. So you can run this with things like Iron Grasp and Agitation. And you could actually run it with Starstruck, a bunch of different perks, perks that show auras, whatever you want there. You can really just piece these basically carry perks together, and then you can really catch people off guard because you swing with no cooldown. They're not wiggling off. They're thinking they're going to somebody wiggling off, so they're thinking about taking hits. Now you're getting free hits, maybe you're getting downs, and you're just carrying the survivor all over. So it's a fun perk. Is it the highest tier? No. If you catch people off guard, can it be very powerful? Absolutely. And that's why this is going to fall into our more meme category. Or I say meme, but so fun. So that's one we consider picking up if you kind of like that play style and like to fool around, have a good time, have fun. You can have a lot of fun with that perk. So that's our first killer perk. Our second one is Surveillance. This is probably the least exciting perk here, but it is a good perk. It's a pig perk, and basically what it does is it allows you to read the aura of generators. All right, and a regressing generator is white. If it's been interrupted, it's going to be highlighted yellow for a certain amount of seconds. It's 8 on this tier. This is our alt account, so we don't have the tier 3 things. And you can also hear repair noises farther away. So while you're patrolling gens, you don't have to get as close. Saves you time there. And also shows you the auras of regressing ones, so you can kind of figure out what's being worked on, what's been touched recently, where people are. Very strong, but it needs support. So because it needs support, and we're going to talk about what that support is, we're going to say this is one of our kind of off meta. It's just a tier below, but it's a build around perk. All right. So you need to build around this. So what do you need to bring with you? If you are an M1 killer, you can bring something like Jolt, right? Jolt can hit multiple generators, get them regressing. You can trigger surveillance. Ruin's great for the early game, right? Ruin keeps them regressing until they get rid of that totem. Ruin's fantastic. Pain res is good, even in its current state, which is not as good as it used to be. We got pop-ups going on here. Apologize for that. It still is good to get things regressing at least 4 times. Those are the 3 that jump out to me right away, but you can run it with other regression as well. Anything that gets the gens regressing can work with this. Nice thing about Jolt is it hits multiple. The nice thing about Ruin is it just works until it's cleansed. If it was me, I'd probably go like a Surveillance, Ruin, Undying, Jolt, or an M1 killer. If I'm not an M1 killer, then maybe I go Pain Res with the Ruin. Maybe I go the Undying or something else to go along with that. But definitely can be powerful. I will say the one downside with this is that you often have special events have orange or yellowish colored generators, so it can be hard to tell what's triggering and what's just an event generator. But that might just be my half colorblind eyes. No offense to anybody that's actually colorblind. I struggle with seeing the generators when there's event gens and surveillance. So uh, just a warning there. But again, it is a pig perk, so it is a licensed perk. So if it's something you're interested in, you don't want to play pig, don't want to spend money on pig, then this might be your best way to snag this and not have to put out real cash. So we'll hop over to our other perk from that chapter. It's a detective tap perk, survivor perk tenacity, and tenacity allows you to crawl faster and recover at the same time, and grunts of pain are reduced. So what do you use this for? This pairs great with flip flop, power struggle, plot twist, unbreakable. All right. Anytime you're trying to get slugged and you're trying to get back up by either crawling away, recovering, dropping pallets on people, whatever it may be, boom, this helps you get to the pallet, get lost, whatever you need to do. Very strong in those builds. And we're going to stay with this. We put this in our build around me tier, but some of these builds are pretty darn close to meta. So we're going to say it's off meta right now, but it's close. And it's definitely a build around sort of perk. But again, it's from the pig chapter here. Both of these cost money, and you may not have to spend the money if you grab them this way. We won't have to spend the money if you grab them this way, right? So if it's a perk you're interested in, Tap does have some cool perks though with Detective's Hunch, and he just has some neat perks. If you want to cleanse totems, if you want to use perks to rush gens or whatever it may be, he's got some cool stuff along with tenacity. So this chapter I do like because Pig's got what make your choice. Hangman's trick, I think it is. That one's not good, but got some cool perks. You get a 5 out of 6 are pretty good. So we might be willing to spend the cash on there if it was us. But again, I don't want to spend other people's money. You might be a free to play player. You want to spend money on other things. Don't have it to just be wasting in game. I get that. So definitely ones we consider picking up. And then the last one we have here is a Gabriel perk, and it is Troubleshooter. And what Troubleshooter does is it allows you to see the aura of the killer when you draw a pallet and the generator with the most progress while you're being chased. So it helps you stay away from your teammates while they're working on gens and helps you kind of know where the killer is. It's one of those where aura reading of the killer is strong. The ones you see the most often are things like Kindred. You see Kindred a lot. You don't see a lot of the other ones. It's just hard sometimes to fit them into your 4 perks. But what I will say is if you play Gabriel, this is kind of like alert and some of the other perks that characters like Fang have built into their base kit. It's fantastic if you don't have a lot of teachables. This is a good perk if you play Gabriel. This is a solid perk to have. You go get other perks, exhaustion perks, recovery perks, whatever, and you can use this in the meantime until you get the exact build that you want. You can never go wrong with perks like this. I think this one doing 2 things is pretty neat. A lot of people run things like Bond, so they don't run into teammates when they're looping. Bond lets you see them working on the gens. This lets you see the generator with most progress. Uh, Bond's a little bit stronger because you actually see where your teammates are. Maybe they left that gen, they're going for the unhook. You're safe to run to that corner, use up those resources, drop those pallets. This perk's not going to show you that, but does show you the killer as well after you drop a pallet, so you can kind of see are they breaking it, especially if it's a really safe one with high walls or something like that, or are they doubling back, or where are they going? So you can use this information in a lot of different ways. So neat perk, we like it. Don't think it's meta. I don't know if it's necessarily off meta, but it's probably one of those kind of like second choice perks. It's good. Uh, you're just not going to see it a lot unless it's Gabriel mains that don't have much else. So when it gets down to the nitty gritty, how do we spend the iridescent shards? Magic's a lot of fun. We consider that. But if we're going for strongest perks, these Saul chapter perks are the strongest ones. That's probably what we prioritize. They also cost cash if you buy the actual chapter. So that may be important for some of you. So we consider those first. Man, Grid is a heck of a lot of fun. It is so much fun. And this perk here, Troubleshooter, it's kind of a second tier, second choice perk. Probably not spending the iridescent shards on this, but we might consider it if that's really up our alley, but probably not. But these other 3 definitely are things that we're going to consider. And like I said, any sort of perks that just regress generators without you doing a whole lot. Jolt, Ruin, Pain Res, perfect for surveillance. Tenacity works great. Unbreakable, Plot Twist, Flip Flop, Power Struggle, any of those perks. And then when it comes to Mana Grit, Agitation, Iron Grass, those kind of things for those backpack builds. So we got some really cool ones this week. Again, I'm Smig. We like doing educational content, killer and survivor. So hopefully you found this a little bit informational. Hopefully it helps you figure out how to spend your hard-earned iridescent shards. And if we're lucky, hopefully you hit that subscribe button and maybe we see you in the fog on stream or in the comments. We always love feedback and any suggestions that people might have. So take care and we'll see you soon.